Okay, let's talk about today's lesson. So yesterday we talked about synthetic division. Today it's called synthetic substitution. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit different because we're going to substitute, okay? So it all depends on the question. Today's question is something like this. It's a polynomial, is x plus 1, is it a factor of this polynomial, p of x, which is 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 5x minus 6. Is it a factor? That's all we care about. We don't care about the division. Is a factor. Well, to be a factor, it has to go in evenly, which means its remainder has to be 0. Okay, so we're looking for really a remainder of 0. Okay, so I did division. I did synthetic division. I took the opposite. I took -1, took my 2, my -3, my 5, my -6. And then I just did synthetic division. Break down the 2, multiply, I get a -2, add, I get -5, multiply, I get 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 times -1 is -10, and I add, I get a -16. Okay, so then this is going to answer my question, okay? This really does answer my question, because my question is this. Is it a factor? And since we have a remainder of -16, the answer is no. I don't care about the answer. This is not important. I only care about one thing, and that's the remainder. If the remainder is 0, yes, it's a factor. The remainder was not 0, so x plus 1 is not a factor. Now, what we did is we talked about, well, what is this about substitution? Well, instead of dividing it, if I plug in -1, instead of dividing, do synthetic division, if I plug in -1 in for x and figure out what it equals, on my calculator I did this earlier, and it turns out to be -16. With synthetic substitution, it tells you the remainder. Okay, so it depends on the question. If the question says to divide, I'll divide. But if all I want to know is if it's a factor, I don't need to divide it. I could. It's just a lot of extra work when all I have to do is really plug it in and get the remainder by plugging it in. So then I took a second question. I said, okay, well, let's just do this again. Is x minus 3 a factor of p of x, which is x cubed plus 2x squared minus 6x plus 4? Never said divide. Did not say divide. I just want to know, is it a factor? I don't care about division. So if it's a factor, x minus 3 is a factor, then I can set it equal to 0 and solve for x and plug 3 in. So I'm going to do synthetic substitution. So I plugged in 3, p of 3, put 3 in for x, put 3 in for x, put 3 in for x, because I want to know if x minus 3 is a factor. Well, I did that, plugged it in, and it turned out to be 31. I just used the calculator, so much easier on the calculator. So the answer is no. So then I went and showed everybody what it means. So the p of 3, when I plugged in 3 equals 31, was really a point on the graph. So somewhere up here is this point. To be a factor and to have a remainder of 0, it would have to be one of these values, okay? And that's what the lesson was all about, okay? Synthetic substitution, not synthetic division, okay? That's what I got.